very much, Cathaoirleach. I'm absolutely gutted with the Minister's response that she will not put a time limit on this felling licence application or appeal. We are absolutely going nowhere, Minister. You're only codding the people. Honestly, codding the people. Good, hard-working people that are providing employment and creating a produce, and they have fortunes invested in it, and they have time invested in it, and at the same time, this government doesn't want to help them. I can clearly see now what you're at. You're not going to listen to our amendments, and time is of the essence. And look, Deputy Barrett, there are things to be decided that can be changed and improved in the plenty of foresters. But what we're talking about here this evening is felling licences for grown timber that's standing to be cut, and there's people's jobs on the line. There was figures given there for harvesters and for forwarders. They're $1 million a unit, and I know what they're not much of yokes at all, Deputy Barrett, but they cost savage money and there's savage maintenance in them, and they can't continue paying for them if they have no work. Get that clear. The lorries that I talked about that go up through our village and go up through the Killarney side from the Oireachtas Peninsula, where there's a lot of grown timber planted, they will stop rolling. And the figures have been given there for the cost of those vehicles. And to learn to drive a harvester in itself is about a 3-year operation. You talk about getting a provisional licence for a car, but you won't be left operate one of them harvesters without at least 3 years experience. They're so intricate and so involved, and to deal with the topography that they deal with. And to see you mention places about Dáil Éireann or whatever, that was in the making of a road. That was not in the cutting of the trees, Deputy Barrett. And I'm appealing to you again, Minister. Time is of the essence, and if you don't want to listen to it, and Deputy McCullough, you were there as well, you're in the government now, and I look up to you as well to ensure that the farmers and the landowners that have land planted in Donegal and Sligo and Roscommon and all those places, they were advised to plant it in the first place because the land wasn't arable, or there was no other way of deriving money from it. So now we have many places that are ready to cut. And we don't, like I said here several other times, we don't have oil, we don't have deposits of gold or diamonds in this country. And it is a fact that we must use whatever resources we have we must use whatever resources we have to survive. And that this is one of the resources that we have in rural parts of marginal land in Kerry and West Cork. These places, I know them so well. I've worked in every one of them, and I know that myself. If I'm doing a small little job on the road, I'll have to put in silt traps, and I'll have to put in silt ponds, and make sure that there's no runoff. The thing is so perfect in relation to that, and that applies to the fellas harvesting as well. If there's a stream, they have to ensure that they have a way of crossing it without even taking the wheels or the tracks through it. There's ways that you do that. All those things, I promise you, are in place. If you have other issues with the aspect of forestry, they're to be raised in another day. And we'll listen to and give you hearing. If you have a sensible story or something that makes sense, we will listen to and actually support you. But we're looking for your very own support now for felling licences, for trees and forests that have even been cut down 2 times before, once or twice before, and this is their third round around. And nothing could be cleaner or better the way they're operating. If I spilt a drop of oil in the road and the inspector came along, I'd be castigated over it. And I have to have stuff, I have to have a spill kit inside the machine when I was at it, you'd have to have a spill kit inside the machine to make sure that was picked up right away and cleaned up. That's how perfect and crystal clear the operation is now. But it's not fair or right of the minister to say they're doing something about this situation that we're in by suggesting that she will not cave in to our request for a timeline. There has to be a timeline, because when we're talking about building a house or building a factory, there's a timeline for that. And this is the very same, but it is a way more serious this is, because there's a system in place where the harvester cuts it, the farmer that picks it up, they're idle if there's no felling licence. There's a haulers that come and pick it up and take it to the likes of Granger's and Inniskeen or Mediate and Clonmel, and they're all supplying Palfab and the factory, the pallet factory in Clondrohid. All those are operating, but they depend on one thing, and they're asking us for a felling licence and to make sure that we get it in a reasonable time. I'm saying to you, Minister, if you don't accede to this, to be way better for us, go down the road and go on holidays, because there was less harm being done when we were on holidays than there is now. We're suffering last night with penalty points for fishermen. I said to you that the only lorries that go up through Kilgarvan taking produce outside of the world is the fisheries, the lorries bringing the fish, or the lorries bringing the timber, or the few cattle out of the mat. That's the only process we have. They're the only products that we have. Well, like I said to you, we haven't oil or gold or anything else. These are the things that we have, and I'm looking at the both of you there now. You're the two ministers for agriculture. This is your time. This is your time now to grant the felling licences and to do something that is a fair licensing system in place. But if you're saying that you're going not to put a deadline or a time frame, forget about it.